Alright, we're back. Team World Elite versus Misfits Gaming. This is, I'm quite hyped for this because you never know with Misfits what kind of performance they're going to bring in. Looking at the trend of Europe, it seems like it's going to be another. You know? And with that in mind, they're playing against a strong team. I think World Elite is quite impressive. Because from comparing to the other Chinese teams, I feel like World Elite actually have a top laner that can play the game. And World Elite also has Mystic. He's been hyped up as a very strong player, and Kondi to me is the strongest jungler at the tournament. With that all being said, Misfits is a team that in terms of preparation they tend to do very well. But looking at their draft, it doesn't seem to be any different from what other teams have been drafting. World Elite, I want to talk about Misfits. What did I say? World Elite. World Elite is a tough opponent for Misfits, and Misfits, the main thing is the conversation is that they don't have any star players, and they are just like they're okay, But star players aren't star players unless they do something one time that is considered like the star power level. So we will see. Misfits have a lot of I want to say newbies, but that's the wrong phrase for it. They have rookies. This is the first time for every single one of them where they are at the World Championship. I think also for Ignar. Maybe Ignar was the World. I have no idea. I don't remember anymore. We will see about their performance. World Elite, on the other hand, this is a team that has been hyped up as the best Chinese team, and looking at the performance of the other Chinese teams, and I have a lot of hopes for World Elite. For me, I put them first in the group in my pick'em. Let's hope that I'm right. Let's look at draft. Plain and simple, Jarvan was left open, was the first pick. Blitzcrank, Gnar, Orianna target ban against Power Weevil, Gnar ban to leave up the tank meta. Alphari has shown that he can play the Gnar into tanks and do very, very well. I think it's a fine ban to do because right now the top lane meta is all about them tanks, and Gnar is a champion that can cause some trouble if you are not experienced against it. Jarvan was the first pick. Response is Tristana Lulu. Tristana Lulu. We have some teams have been afraid of picking Tristana blind because of Varus or whatever the such, but I think it's completely fine to do so. There's not a lot of lanes that would completely stomp this unless you have the enemy team playing trash, and we haven't seen any trash at this tournament, so maybe trash is just trash. The response is Xayah, Janna. Also a pretty strong bot lane, right? It's a bot lane that will be able to push and will be able to contest whatever Tristana Lulu is going to do in the early game. I'm assuming they might even do slightly better in the early game. And then I feel like Tristana's range advantage is going to be massive, but Xayah provides some utility and also allows her to avoid a lot of the engages that Misfits might throw on her, right? So it's very hard to catch a Xayah that has a Janna with, for example, Sejuani. But the same thing can be said with Tristana, right? Tristana Lulu, very hard to catch the Tristana with the Jarvan engaged, right? So the same can be said for both AD carries. They have A-tier AD carries or S-tier AD carries on both teams. Sejuani as a response to Jarvan. When Jarvan's been out, Sejuani has been the first pick. I think that would have been the case as well. In this scenario, we see Lucian Cassiopeia ban. Lucian is a big pick over in a big pick over in China, and also Lucian, Cassiopeia, two picks that are very strong into Corki. So in this case, like Orianna's out, Lucian, Cassiopeia's out, Corki becomes the pick for Misfits, and there is very little that hard counters Corki here, or not hard counters. I don't think anything hard counters Corki, but good matchups into Corki. The pick would have been Galio of anything in mid, but mid Galio has been something that just has fallen out of favor. The blind pick for World Elite was Maokai, and then LeBlanc as a response to Corki. Corki does fine into LeBlanc because he can itemize X-Drinker, right, and he can also use a second summoner that fits, but LeBlanc as a pick can also create some picks, but I felt like LeBlanc in the current meta is not the greatest pick. She can't deal with tanks properly, and a lot of the supports, like a Lulu, is hard for for LeBlanc, and the long-range ADs are also hard for LeBlanc to snipe. But LeBlanc can still snowball games. She can snowball games with a good early game. They have Jarvan. They can create a lot of pressure in the early game and then later on transition that into a split push threat that is LeBlanc. And I think with that being said, LeBlanc is not some useless dog in the current meta. She still has a place in some matches. We continue. Oh, I'm gonna mute this. I'm sorry, casters. Response of the Cho'Gath against Maokai. We have a bulldozer composition here on Misfit's side, while World Elite have a composition that is more willing to play on the side lanes. They are more willing to play centered around the early game, and Misfits, they kind of need to survive. They need to kind of survive until they have the first package. They can create something off of that, but I think World Elite, they have to take it in their hands to create a lot of pressure and pressure Maxlow very early on, and then potentially even pressure the mid lane with that advantage. So we will see how this goes. The handshake, Hussein Mousvi. He's from Canada and he has Moose in his name. That's insane. Misfits are doing the classic double ardent sensor abuse with the Corki and Tristana. The main thing is, you know, like Lulu can't really apply ardent sensor on two people, you know, so it doesn't really make a difference. You know, sure, she can apply it on one at once, but she doesn't apply it on two, so it's not like a super big deal. Unless she goes Stormborn Pact as her summoner. She doesn't, obviously, because that would be complete bonkers. She goes Thunderlord. Hans Sama is very ballsy here. He goes for the Fervor. So Fervor, DPS-wise, stack, of course, scales better. You don't necessarily need the Bloodlust. But in lane, World's Bloodlust is very huge and very OP. So this is Hans Sama saying that he's better than the enemy. Maybe he's just confident in the fact that Lulu is stronger than the Janna early on. We see the summoner spells on Hans Sama is heal. No barrier this time around. Let's speed this up a bit. Let's go to 1.25. Boom. 1.25. The game time on this one is very low. Short. This game is over after 15 minutes of YouTube time. So let's see. Let's see who gets stomped. I'm guessing it's Misfits. Okay. So the early game is in Condi's hand. I think we should pay close attention to what he does. Because Jarvan as a champion doesn't like to do full clears. He likes to do 3 camps into pressure. Let's say if he finds out where Maxlow is and does something to pressure him. Sejuani just wants to do a full clear and Jarvan wants to gain value. Maybe his gank will be on the Corki in mid lane. While I'm talking about how Jarvan wants to do insane plays in the early game, it seems like he is doing a full clear and just contradicting everything that I just said. Sejuani is quite on even footing. Jarvan is doing the red buff. Doesn't like too much to do the Raptors, but he has some AoE, so it's not too bad. Got Crab going down to Hans Sama, starting with Relic Shield and Potions. If they are winning the lane, it means that the Ardent Sensor will come earlier for Ignar, but as I mentioned in the previous game, it's if you have Relic Shield and you get this thing, you know, you get Ardent Sensor first, you base, the enemy team will push another wave, they will base, and they will also have Ardent Sensor, so I don't feel like it's that big of a difference. You will have base priority with Ardent Sensor, pretty much. Let's see now, Relic Shield on Tristana, giving 4 CS to Lulu already, unless he stole some. I doubt it, because he has 24 at 330, it's a pretty standard number. He got all CS, I think. Except maybe one. Yeah, 25 is what you need, right? 25 with cannon. Was that a lag spike? Second all worlds players. Holy shit, look at that statistic though. Power of Evil with the Corki. You know, he's gonna shoot some rockets. Power of Evil on Corki has been very impressive in the past. The matchup against LeBlanc is something that was very meta at one point in time, and it was all about just buying Hex Drinker for Corki. Corki playing TP is going to make it very easy for him. And Corki is not a champion that is necessarily susceptible to ganks. Now he's going for the base. Let's see if LeBlanc can cancel him. It doesn't seem like it. Conde is down bot lane. He did the full clear into bot side. Didn't get spotted on the crab because the crab went away. There we go. Hansama gets cancelled in the air. That's a flash from Hansama and the heal. Pretty big, pretty big. I wonder now if there was a way for Misfits to know the path Kondi took in the early game. I think Maokai did a leash, and you could kind of see it. It was signaled here, Cho got leashed and Maokai leashed, unless Maokai fake leashed, but then Jarvan starting without a leash is not necessarily like prime time good stuff, you know. Let's fast forward here. We were at the point where Hansama lost his flash. Maxlo is kind of behind on the play now, since Kondi did a play, but Maxlo was clearing camps. Maxlo has killed 2 Raptor camps already, and the thing is, Kondi did his Raptors very late, while Sejuani started at Raptors. So, like, he started the red buff into Raptors, right? So he did them very early. Kondi's camps spawning topside, but Kondi is spending a lot of time bot side. So Maxlo is playing more efficiently in terms of farm, but Kondi is playing very gank heavy here and is going to try to kill Hansama that has no flash. But they're in a pretty safe position now, and from this position all you need is the Warden River to be safe. Of course, Tristana still has her jump, so if she uses her jump properly and doesn't get cancelled by the Jarvan EQ, then he shouldn't die. Kondi is just clearing the golem camp right here. As you can see, Maxwell is just playing full efficiency. He's 1 level ahead now, and Kondi, the kind of payment he got for his pressure is a flash on Tristana, and that's pretty much it at this point in time. Let's see if it matters. If it doesn't matter, then Maxwell's play is going to be better. But CS wise, they are pretty even down bottom. Hansama's walking down to lane now with a BF sword. He base first, and it seems like a pretty clean base, because looking at bot lane right now, you could see that Janna and Xayah didn't push the wave completely all the way in, and Tristana and Lulu got to catch this wave, so it's not too big of a deal. We can see a CS disparity right now, but I think Tristana and Lulu will quickly catch up, because right now Xayah and Janna will most likely lose a wave. Will they lose a wave? They lose like 4 CS here, I think. Yeah, potentially more. Lulu and Tristana can push in the wave very, very fast, and the turret just needs to kill those creeps. Yeah, it looks like Xayah's gonna lose 4 CS here. And then we have an even situation once again. Oh, not even. It was a cannon wave that came in. So, World Elite just did a perfect base. I didn't realize it was a cannon wave, so they just lost 1 CS. I was talking about how they lose 4 CS, but that was wrong. Flash is slowly coming back up. Hexdrink is ready on Corki. We are completely ignoring top lane because it's boring. It's good for branding, you know. Riot Games, they don't put the Observer ever on top lane because it's a Cho'Gath Maokai matchup. It doesn't matter too much. Misfits have done a good job of maintaining pings around mid lane. World Elite are doing kind of the Fnatic approach because they really want to punish the fact that Tristana has no flash. I think it might be very hard to do so. Kondi does have his Jarvan ultimate. Maxlo needs the base because he's very low mana, so Kondi has some time to work with here. He goes and clears his golem camp once again. Very surprised that World Elite didn't play around mid lane at all yet. They didn't try to pressure the Corki at all. Corki is in a good state now. He can base and grab his package if that's going to be the case. Or did he use his package already? I don't play with sound, so it's hard for me. I don't play with sound. I don't have sound of the stream, so it's very hard for me to know for sure. We will see. We will see. I'm not too sure either if it shows up on spectator mode on the minimap. Let's assume he has it up. Let's see. The flash is coming up now of Tristana. World Elite invested a lot of time into Kondi's being bottom, and it didn't really pay off. CS differential is in favor of Mystic because of their cannon wave base. Bye. I'm assuming now that Corki used his package to come back into lane. There we go. He got the golden shoes, golden Adidas shoes right there. Boom. Uses package for absolutely nothing. Misses are very happy to have a stalemate. If nothing happens in this game, they have very strong scaling picks, and a stalemate is just good for them. They want to make sure that the Corki scales into the game, make sure that Corki can deal with the LeBlanc on the side lane without LeBlanc getting too far ahead. And then they will transition into a very, very strong late game. Xayah is getting absolutely destroyed here. Great trade from Power of Evil. Power of Evil has had the best split of his life, for sure. This split, he definitely impressed me, and the meta is definitely like for him. You know, the meta has been for him for a very long time. It's been Orianna, Syndra, and Corki is something that he has delivered on time and time again. So I'm a big fan of Power of Evil's performance in this year. The Cloud Drake is also not too impressive. The main thing here is if a team decides to just push in a wave and swap into topside. You can see that World Elite just pushed in the wave. They could potentially walk into topside and have a tempo play on of course, the Rift Herald. But Misfits bot lane is basing at the same time, and they need to kind of make the gamble. Maybe they're the ones going to walk topside now. The main thing here why World Elite, if they went topside, it would have been a worse play, is because Maokai based at the same time and Choga got to push in the wave for free. So it wouldn't have been the most optimal play. Seems like the bot lane is just based to get the Ardent Sensor, and maybe bot lane gets a bit more interesting now, maybe a bit more explosive. Very strange itemization from Hansama. He has a pickaxe and a BF. He gets extra attack speed from Lulu, so maybe that is his reasoning why he just invests more heavily in AD. He has the Ardent Sensor and the Lulu attack speed. But usually people do BF into Static Shiv. So the pushing power of Xayah is very, very powerful. She scales with that BF very well, and then she has the Janna shield, and she can just clear waves really, really fast. Condi is finally paying some attention through mid. He cleared the pink wards of Maxwell. Maxwell is currently basing. I don't know if it's a good time to do that. The blue buff was given to Corki. So what are we looking out for? What is a big first play? I think the main thing here is to try to make sure that the mid laners are enabled to move out of the lane, and as soon as bot lane gets a good trade, make sure that both LeBlanc and Jarvan can be there, or maybe Sejuani. Now this is a very good trade. Now this is what you want to play off of. Janna can also heal up, but Mystic, if he gets to hit this wave, there's no problem. Corki cancelled TP, Misfits, everyone cancelled TP. 4 TPs and everything cancelled. Alright. So what you have to basically look for is these heavy trades in bottom, and then eventually when one team does a good trade, that LeBlanc and the mid laner and the jungle is pretty much there to capitalize on it. Condi is not spotted here. He walked into the bush and is completely free from any vision. Corki was in base, so he's kind of behind on tempo right now. Sejuani is also spotted by the enemy team. Janna is fake recalling right here, I think. Power of Evil does have the package though, so if they force, he's going to be able to create something. But at the same time, if Misfits just plays safe down bottom and Corki pushes for free and goes topside, then everything's for free. But Ignar, what was this flash? Oh no, Max Law. Let's take a step back. So the main thing here is Misfits are committing to the decision where they are pushing mid and giving up the pressure bottom. If they push mid, they will have the option of going through bottom and defending bottom, or going to top and making a play, right? Usually, since Cho'Gath is in river, they should commit to the bottom play, or they could also commit to the play where they just hit mid tower and force the enemy to react. I think committing to hit mid tower is a great play here, where they just send Cho'Gath into mid. The enemies that are in bot lane need to react and walk into mid, and then bottom will be unpressured again. But Misfits, they play too aggressive here. They walk up too far, and it's very unnecessary. Ignar is dying for no reason. It was quite unnecessary. Just imagine a situation here where they just committed to hit the mid tower, or they just walked into river here with Corki. Then they would have made sure that Lang lost some CS, and Misfits bot lane wouldn't have lost anything. But this is completely unnecessary. Like, why is Ignar playing with fire here? This is the only play they have. And if they have to insist on face checking, then just do it with Tristana. She has this buffer problem with her W, and I think it's completely ridiculous how the game still is like that, that Tristana can just buffer her W and get away from everything. Javan's doing casual Rift Herald. Condi also got the Drake from before. Is he just going to get this for free? Seems like it. Nothing else is happening, and Misfits are being quite passive in their approach. So let's talk about the options that Misfits had. Misfits had the option to play through mid. Power of Evil had a lot of good trades in mid, and he was consistently shitting on, however you pronounce this name, LeBlanc. He was shitting on LeBlanc. They could have pressured through mid at all times. They could have centered their game around mid lane and pressured into bottom, pressured into top, because LeBlanc was looking very weak. The Hex Drinker of Corki, the Sheen, Power of Evil was doing a lot of great trades. And with that in mind, if they are the ones playing around their pressure and Maxlor is not just committing to this idea of killing every jungle camp, then maybe they would be the ones with the objectives right now. A main thing here is also like Corki did decide to base, right? So I'm not saying this is 100% his fault. Corki is basing and they spotted him on the recall right here. They spotted the Corki recall, and with that in mind, Condi is doing this without any risk. Like, instead of doing his jungle camps, he's just trying to do things that will win him the game. I love seeing that. I want to take a step back and just really highlight points where they could just have played through mid and shut down the vision from Condi. Good vision topside though from Maxlor. But other than that, I just feel like they could have pressured more buffs, pressured more with mid lane in general. I just feel like Power of Evil has been in a good state for a very long time. Let's fast forward again to the point where we were at. It could be also the case that Misfits are just happy with a very slow rolled game and they just want to farm it out and reach late game. But I don't think necessarily that is the best approach. Finally, we see some action now with Misfits. This is a good play. I think they could have done this at the previous blue buff as well, with the pressure that Power of Evil has. Cho'Gath is also going to push harder earlier topside, and the itemization is definitely in favor of Cho'Gath in the matchup against Maokai, because Maokai itemized Righteous Glory. It's not going to help him much against Cho'Gath, and Cho'Gath is going for all out on magic resistance here. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Very good crossplay from World Elite, right? The enemy team committed to doing this blue buff, and it's very important that... let's take a look at the situation. They did in fact spot Jarvan topside, right? So the worst thing that can happen here is that they run into 3 people, right? But Ignite just gets smashed. Holy moly. He just gets completely demolished because of the lack of summoners from before. I remember when the meta was like Nami, Sona, and it was all about having Flash on your support. Because if you don't, you're just kind of doomed, because they were so easy to kill. And I think that could be a strength of LeBlanc that I didn't highlight before. So this is what happened. So they did blue buff. LeBlanc got to push for free because they committed so far. Like, Power of Evil took a very long path to the blue buff. And he should be here, right? He should be here, and he should be in time already for this mid wave. And it wouldn't have ended as badly as it did. He committed too hard for this blue buff, and he should have been on the other side, like ready to fight here, but also at the same time ready to be in mid lane. With that in mind, looking at the situation in bot lane, Mystic and Ben, they have full control. They've maintained the push in bottom for a very long time, and that is the strength of Xayah Janna. They are just pushing, pushing, pushing. Alright, there we go. something that is worth highlighting as well. Like I mentioned that I want Misfits to be more active. The mistake is that, you know, if you are more active, you need to do it towards bottom, because diving Maokai is like an impossibility, right? Sure, it might be possible, but it might take you like 1 minute to kill him. And during this time, if the enemy team makes a play into bottom, then you're just gonna get smashed. So the main thing here is, maybe the mistake is that Misfits, finally, when they actually pressured through mid and did something with the fact that Corki is so strong, they did it into top side. They should have just done it into bot side. If they did it into bot side, the counterplay with LeBlanc would be to try to gank Cho'Gath, but trying to gank a Cho'Gath that has so much magic resistance is just not going to happen, right? So Misfits, while I praise them for playing through mid, they played through mid into the wrong side. They used Power Ryu's pressure to play into top and get the blue buff, when in reality they should have played through mid with the pressure they have in mid into bottom, and then eventually been the ones themselves making the play onto the Xayah and Janna that have been pushing the entire time. So this time around they went for the blue buff, they committed too heavily. LeBlanc got to push for free because Corki wasn't around, he was away taking a blue buff, and then she got to do the gank on LeBlanc, the Lulu for free. And Lulu, of course, didn't have flash since before. Whoa, what is happening there? The entire base is just gonna go down. Riftel was used, 2 towers fell down, half turret on bottom turret. Far is pushing top, but I don't think it matters too much. It's all about that swap now. Xayah and Janna go top lane. Tristana and Lulu have to match. Misfits need to play with the same idea, that they pressure with the Corki into the LeBlanc, and pressure like that. In this case, like if LeBlanc is going to go against Lulu Tristana, I think it's going to be a beneficial situation for the LeBlanc, because she can actually one-shot people. Oh, Lulu was like, my booty. Nah, but you know, I like the lane setup here for World Elite, because Corki beats LeBlanc. LeBlanc can actually 1v2 at this point. She can actually 1v2. She can straight up just all in the Lulu, and the Lulu is going to be like, she's going to be scared the entire time. Corki is going to win the 1v1 against LeBlanc, but lose against Xayah and Janna. So right now it's all about just making sure that Corki goes against LeBlanc, and that Lulu Tristana go back into mid lane here to match bot lanes with bot lanes, and Corki against LeBlanc. Let's see now if Misfits take the right decision. Corki is going back into mid lane, Xayah is also going to go back into mid lane, and LeBlanc and most likely will just stay here on top side. Turret up top is very low though, so as the moment LeBlanc just leaves, or the jungle is around, the top tower is just gonna fall. Now the question is if World Elite are just gonna commit for the mid tower as a trade. It looks like it. Corki might be able to clear some creeps, but it's a cannon wave, so this will fall very, very fast with the attack speed of Xayah. Very interesting buy as well, she has a Hurricane. Alfari is caught, but he has a lot of MR. Now the AD damage is coming in, so Alfari just dies. Okay. Did Alfari just unintentionally save the mid turret? For a little while, right? His death is going to mean that World Elite will just continue pushing and take it for free. I feel like Misfits already committed to the trade of killing top tower for World Elite getting mid tower. It's a very poor trade, right? But that's the choice they went for. And as long as they keep Corki in mid lane, they're going to be in a weaker position. I definitely felt like Tristana and Lulu should have swapped after they recognized that LeBlanc can shit on them both. LeBlanc moved from top into mid, they committed for top tower, and there was just a trade from that point on. Because Corki was in fact pressured in mid. So once again, you know, Corki should have matched the LeBlanc, and they should have went with Tristana Lulu into mid, for sure. That is the way Misfits win this game. They need to have Corki against LeBlanc. Corki against LeBlanc is the way they win. Right now, like, they just need to match the bot lane with the bot lane. They're going to get pushed in, but at least they're not going to get 1v2 by the LeBlanc. And if Corki gets pressure on side, they can actually do something with it, because then Misfits can actually pressure both bottom and top. Bottom not so much, but actually Corki can do well into the LeBlanc, I imagine. Of course, Corky's not going to hard some LeBlanc, but he should be favored at this point. I don't understand the people that delay Sorcerer Shoes on Corky. It's like the most broken item in the game for Corky. All his damage is magic, like his auto attack is magic damage, all his spells are magic damage. It's absolutely crazy how efficient Sorcerer Shoes is for Corky. Wow, Cloud Drake, yeah, fantastic. Let me just stretch. I'm wearing my Pokemon t-shirt. Let's take a step back. Finally, Misfits decide to match here, but I want to take a step back and look at the base timing. So wave is coming into mid. I don't like how Misfits are basing so unevenly here. So Misfits base when the wave is there. So they don't even push this wave. They just base when the wave is there. And then in mid lane, they also just base when the wave is there. So they are basing unevenly here, giving World Elite time to do whatever they want to maintain pressure. Like right here, Tristana and Lulu should have pushed the wave, and Corky and Sejuani should have based at the same time. So they're all out of base at the same time. Because this wave is even, and it gives World Elite time to pressure whatever they want. Like LeBlanc has time to roam for free and move for free, and she doesn't lose much at all. Oh, Ignar is going to get one-shotted here, it seems. Well, so is Tristana. This looks like a Nasher already. Okay. Alright. Well, this was a quick one. Misfits are also sushi rolls, man. They get chopped up. They are getting chopped up big time. Big issue from before, they are getting pressured and they're walking into their own jungle when they are being pressured. There's no reason to enter there, right? You need to wait for the next wave. The enemy team has pressure there. You need to maybe blue trinket the Baron, and you need to play with the next wave. Get priority here. Let's use the epic pen. There we go. Right now, like, you need to play with this wave, like this mini wave right here. You need to play with it. Right, this area after you lost pressure and priority because of bad base timings. A joke for all you Swedes. You need to walk in here, walk in this direction with this mini wave right here, and then after you kill it, you're going to force the enemy to show up. You'll have to blue trinket the Baron, because of course World Elite have a chance to do it here, but their Baron is not the greatest, right? They have a LeBlanc, doesn't do that much damage to it, and you are the ones with the Cho'Gath teams with the Cho'Gath. You can also face check some bushes with some Corky Qs, but it's all about just playing with this wave. There's no reason to face check here. The mistake is from the past, right? That they managed to lose the priorities and the base priority because they didn't push the right waves and they based at the wrong time. Eh? So we continue. And that means a free Nasher pickup. Mystic is doing very well on that Zaya. Impressive LeBlanc performance as well. Like, even in a game that was a bit slower for LeBlanc, she managed to put herself in a situation where she is very effective. She was laning against the Lulu and Tristana, and I feel like Misfits, they matched a bit too late. They had opportunities to match the Corky with the LeBlanc, and it just didn't happen. A World Elite almost gonna perfect game Misfits. Well, Misfits got that top tower though, you know. So it's not quite a perfect game. LeBlanc poke at this point is very, very potent. I think that's probably the goal of LeBlanc always, is to just kill these Ardent supports, because that's something that she can do, right? She can always kill these Ardent supports, and oh no, World Elite a bit too deep. Oh no, Tristana got chunked. Lulu got chunked even. What the hell just happened? What the hell just happened? I want to see that again. Like, what did LeBlanc do to them both? Tristana's low HP. She's going to go back to heal. Tower down. And then right here. It just looks like Zai just one-shots them both. Look at this. Wait. He's gonna come in now from this angle. Boom. Oh, he gets the double Q. Holy moly, that's insane. That's crazy. I want to see that damage done graph for this fight, man. That was absolutely bonkers, dude. He got, he just treated them like minions, this is like the dream scenario for LeBlanc. Very crazy LeBlanc play. Like the Asian, the Chinese mid laners are crazy LeBlanc players. LeBlanc players and Lucian players, that's like the best are over there, Alright, so Mystic got absolutely smashed, man. Demolished. World Elite, I feel like, Power of Evil had a lot of pressure in mid, and Misfits didn't use it. And by the time they used it at 17 mark, it was the first time in the game something happened. They played to the wrong side. I praised them for it. I praised them for taking a blue buff, but that was wrong, right? They should have just played into bottom side with this pressure. If they played into bottom side with this pressure, just played into bottom side river, maintained vision, Jarvan can't really commit there. LeBlanc can't really commit there. And then the entire map is on lockdown. Jarvan, like Xayah and Janna, they're pushing bottom, and the only play World Elite would have had is to try to gank through bottom lane. And that worked once, right? Ignar died and burned his flash, which was absolutely terrible. It means so much in the current meta to have flash up on your support. And something we learn more, I personally learned more about LeBlanc pick. It's, when you think about it, it's very good into the Ardent supports. It can pick them off, it can chunk them very hard. And it's kind of like, it's kind of like Overwatch. I don't know if you guys play Overwatch, but there is like, oh, focus the supports. It's kind of the same thing, Ardent Sensor is enabling a lot of ADs, and the shields that they give and the attack speed that they give is a big part of why the AD carries are so powerful, and focusing that support first is going to mean so much for your team fighting, right? So LeBlanc definitely has a good place. I was talking about how long range AD carries are hard for LeBlanc, tanks are hard for LeBlanc, which is true, right? Which is 100% true. But she definitely has a role when it comes to sniping weak supports. Misfits could have played better. I think World Elite recognized that they should put LeBlanc against the enemy duo, enemy AD and support, and it worked out fine. LeBlanc got pressure against two people, which means so much, and Corki was pressured against Xayah and Janna, because Corki is not going to outpush that. And then Misfits didn't necessarily swap their Corki into LeBlanc, which would have been a way for them to get pressure again, and then nothing. It was just a stalemate pretty much, and I think that sums it up pretty well. Thank you very much, Misfits. They look like the team that we saw over in Europe. Let's see what comes next. World Elite are playing a very fast-paced game, and I am loving what I see from them. I think Ignar could have played safer a lot of times, and he died when he didn't need to. And all in all, I think Misfits did some macro mistakes. Let's carry on to the next game. Thank you very much.